KTAR, Eyes on Parenting.
Kids these days, am I doing enough? Am I doing too much? This is KTAR's Eyes on Parenting. I'm Corbin Carson. Today I'm joined by Bertrand Berry. He's a former Arizona Cardinal, Pro Bowler, 13 seasons, 6 of them with the Cardinals, top 5 sack leader, the man here. And the reason I wanted to sit here and talk to you, but also a parent.
Sure.
Tell me, how many kids do you have and their ages?
I have 3. I have 2 daughters, 16 and 14, and then I have a son who's 10.
Nice. And so I'm 2017, 5, and 2
Ooh.
are those ages. And then so the reason I wanted to talk to you today was about football. We've seen a lot of controversy from the movie Concussion all the way to in the news about different concussion-related things. I'd like to ask a parent and a person that actually did this professionally, would you let your kids play football?
I want my son to play at least 1 year of football, and here's why. I think the lessons that you learn on the field, being part of a big team like that and having to incorporate a lot of different personalities, it's imperative that you work like that, because the job is going to always be where you have to deal with different personalities, and you can't necessarily determine who you work with all the time. So you're going to have to be able to go with the flow to a certain degree. And then the lessons of when you get knocked down, get back up. There's so many different elements of the game that you can learn and carry into regular life that I think if you just give me 1 year, that's all I ask. And if you want to go past that, that's your choice, but just give me 1.
And I feel you on that, because me personally, I played the 1 year, and I had this guy. I was doing an end around. This guy named Chainsaw was on the defense, and he hit me, and I remember that, and that was my last year of football. I didn't like the whole hit and not get hit back thing. I don't get to. I just get to get up and be like, hey, good job.
You got to go to defense, brother.
Right. I went to boxing.
Okay. That makes sense.
But the reason why I say all this is a lot of people say, would you let your kid play football? But let's be clear, there's not really, there's a different kind of kid between pushing a kid to play football and wanting them to play football. And I remember my kid had asked a couple of times, can I play? And my whole question now would be, do you think once they're out there that if there are parents that are concerned about it, what should they look out for as far as concussions?
I think with concussions, you have to look at behavioral change. If you see a dramatic behavior change in your child where one day he's acting a certain way and then all of a sudden after practice or a week of practice, maybe he's acting a little bit different, that's a telltale sign that something may be going on in his head. So you have to make sure that you stay on top of that. And if he is not a guy that wants to be outside very often, if he wants his room dark, and if you see just little minor behavioral changes, that's when you have to start worrying about something may be going on with my child.
But is it a situation where you should trust the coaches or training staff, or should you be also monitoring this yourself as a parent?
On some levels, you trust the people that are in charge, but you have to also use common sense. If you see something that is drastically different about your child that you know that they're not characteristically doing, then you have to make sure that you do what's in the best interest of your child, because they may not understand everything that's going on with them, and they may not notice. It may be one of those things that's very subtle for them, but if you can tell as a parent, and you know your child better than anybody, if you see that, then you need to address that right away.
Last question. Where do you see this heading, this controversy? I mean, obviously, as a country, we're caught in this dichotomy between loving football and this scary movie type situation that's coming up. Where do you see this heading for both parents and the game itself?
I think parents are going to be more hands-on. I think they're going to have more questions for coaches as they get more information. And I think now that you have the players understanding what's at risk, if they have the information in front of them, then they'll make the proper assessment as to whether they want to play or not. I think you'll still see kids playing football. I still think it's a great sport. I still think there's so many positives. They outweigh the negatives. And yes, concussions and injuries are part of the game, but there's also lots of great lessons that can be learned from the sport. And it's still a fun sport to play when it's played in all the right ways and as safely as you possibly can play it.
Perfect. Well, that's going to do it. This has been KTAR's Eyes on Parenting. I'm Corbin Carson, father of 4, 1 in college, 1 in high school, 1 in kindergarten, and 1 in diapers. Chances are I'm facing a question you're facing. If so, hit me up on Twitter, and maybe we can work it out together. I'd like to thank B-Train. You could catch him on Arizona Off the Edge with B-Train, Arizona Sports Off the Edge with B-Train 98.7. We'll see you next time, folks.